a reply to His Worship the Mayor. Thank you for your copy of the letter of the 14th of December, the letter to your Honorable Ed Stelmach regarding funding and support for family, community, and support services as Minister of Human Services. I appreciate the opportunity to respond. The FCSS program is an excellent example of how government and local groups work together to build strong, vibrant communities. Preventative and early intervention services are critical to building and sustaining healthy children, families, and communities. FCSS is a key contributor in the continuum of preventative social services at the grassroots level. Municipalities and Métis settlements know the priorities of their communities and are in the best position to determine which programs and services receive funding through FCSS. We remain committed to working with our municipal and Métis settlement partners to continue to address and strengthen community-based preventative social services. Your comments are timely and will be considered as we work to finalize the budget from 2012-13. Thank you for writing in support of FCSS. I'm trying to think, I just saw the email today about what funding came in regarding for FCSS. Nothing, I don't think. Stays the same. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we receive and file a motion then, please. Councilor Poroshenko. Discussion? All in favor? Councilor Hayden? Opposed?
No,
okay.
Sorry.
Carried. Alberta Infrastructure Land Assembly Project Area Act. Now, I believe that, councillors, you received the little flyer in your mail today. Anyways, this is from Minister Johnson, Minister of Infrastructure. Dear Mayor Richard Coleman, as a community leader, we would like to let you know about recent changes to the Land Assembly Project Area Act. We have delivered on the Premier's promise to landowners. Since the legislation was introduced in 2009, Albertans have shared comments with us regarding the Act and the rights of landowners. The feedback we received revealed four main areas of concern. Firstly, confusion about what type of projects would fall under the Act, specifically whether or not the Act could be used for standalone transmission projects. Secondly, concern about whether Albertans get fair compensation and access to the Expropriation Act and all the heads of compensation within the Expropriation Act. Thirdly, concern about access to courts to appeal both compensation and possible enforcement orders. And fourthly, concern about penalties under the Act that were seen as heavy-handed. We have taken action to address these concerns and more. The changes we have made to the law give landowners more power and ensure that they will have proper consultation, compensation, and access to the courts if their land is needed for major infrastructure projects. Prior to this legislation, government purchased land for major projects like the Edmonton and Calgary ring roads using restricted development area regulations. Landowners had very limited option under these regulations. Government was not required to notify or consult landowners. Development was restricted as government considered projects for an indefinite amount of time, and it was government that decided when landowners were compensated for their land. Now the law better defines what type of projects fall under the Act. The Act is intended for large-scale, long-term transmission and water projects. The amendments have also clarified that the Act will not be used for standalone utility or transmission projects. Property owners will have access to all applicable compensation under the Expropriation Act. They will be able to trigger expropriation of their land at the time of their choosing. They will also have priority to lease back their land and will have the option of having the Land Compensation Board or the courts determine the amount of compensation landowners receive. The changes have also addressed Alberta's concern about penalties and the role of the courts under the Act. Enforcement penalties have been reduced and landowners will have increased access to the courts to contest enforcement orders. Our Premier and caucus believe that landowners in Alberta deserve to be consulted and fairly compensated when it comes to their land, and this legislation ensures that they will be. I have included a fact sheet inviting you to view our website at www.albertalandsfacts.ca for more information about the legislation. Amendments to the Act were passed on December 6, 2011. Even though the Act has passed, it has not been proclaimed. Work still needs to be done in the coming months to consult on and draft the supporting regulations, and then it will become effective. Please don't hesitate to contact us directly at Infrastructure Ministry, etc. Okay, and so you have an attachment, a copy of that little leaflet that was in your mail the other day. Okay, so I'll entertain your motion to receive and file. Councilor Rudick. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, financial. Okay, last week. Okay, H, memorandum from Jeff Edwards, Recreational, Cultural and Facilities Manager. That's H1 in your package. Dated the 8th of February, disposal of Zamboni Model 440, serial number 5521. I mean, that's how old it is. Anyways, proposal to the Town Council to approve the disposal of capital assets, proposed by Jeff Edwards, Recreational, Cultural and Facilities Manager. Background, the Zamboni Model 440, serial number 5521. Ice cream machine was purchased in 1996. The machine has met its life expectancy for the town's intended use and has been fully amortized. Therefore, it has a nil net book value. Recommendation was put forward to Mayor and Council and approved to purchase a replacement ice cream machine, which will arrive in February, and I believe it is down here in town. Once this new machine has been received and is in service, the current equipment will no longer be required for the town's operation. Financial implications, recommended method of disposal for the Zamboni Model 440 serial 5521 ice cream machine is to advertise this piece of equipment for public sale. Prospective buyers will submit a sealed offer to Recreation, Culture and Facilities Department, and the revenue generated through the sale of this asset will be allocated to the the arena revenue account. Recommend that we authorize the disposal this year. We entertain a motion then for that. Councillor Hayden, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Two. Request the council decision, Downtown Markets 2012. Request to approve street closures for the downtown markets proposed by Maureen Easton, the Economic Development Officer, Federal Economic Development and Tourism. Background, the EED Board approved downtown markets for 2012 and are scheduled for June the 23rd, August the 11th, and September the 8th. I'm assuming those are all Saturdays? Okay. The hours for closure for each of these market days would be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., which will allow for 2 hours before and 1 hour after each market to ensure adequate time for setup and tear down. No parking signage would be placed and enforced prior to the market start times. The EEDB is requesting the Town Council authorize the street closure of 50th Street on 50th Avenue to 52nd Avenue. All contacts and communications with the appropriate departments and emergency services would be adhered to prior to June 23rd, 2012 market. The recommendation that the council authorize the closure of 50th Street from 50th Avenue to 52nd Avenue from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The following dates, June 23rd, August 11th, and September 8th. Looking for a motion in support of that. Councillor Kazakevich. Any Discussion. Councillor Reid.
We've had discussion last time about possibly moving the location of the markets down a block, just so that,
Rotate.
rotate the location. Was there any further follow-up with that?
Not specifically, but if that's the request to have it all through, I guess if they don't have enough market participants, that it would be able to be put into one area appropriately, and certain until we know what we get for the number of participants.
And, sorry,
Yep.
and as a follow-up question to that, I'm not sure that you'd be able to answer that right, or if you could, but generally the response of the merchants downtown was positive. My understanding was that this is not necessarily a drawing card to all the businesses downtown, but there's certainly more people in that downtown area. Is that correct?
The majority of the feedback that I heard was positive. There were a few objections, but generally I think most of the merchants had no problem with it.
Okay. So the closure didn't impact them.
Well, I think they were, they accepted. I don't say it didn't affect them or not, but Councillor Crochet.
I can tell you from economic development that there were very few Main Street businesses that were not in favor of the closure. I think only two, and that the rest not only were okay with it, but actually admitted that recognized that their own sales for the day were up because of just more people being downtown. So definitely it benefited not only to the people who are at the market, but those on Main Street as well. Which is why we decided to run it again.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, so there being no further discussion then, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Okay, carried. So I guess then, Ms. Evans, then the idea being that maybe we could investigate, see, like you say, depending on the number of participants, whether or not it could be moved that one block north for one of the days or whatever. I think the only problem was that the entertainment uses the power in the Rotary Park, I guess. And then so the question would be, would power be available at one of the other corners? Should be in every tree, yeah. So I guess that's
Certainly,
could be done, yeah.
we'll certainly look at the number of participants, so we'll know what's the best use of the space.
Yeah.
When we get closer to it, because right now we don't have any, we don't have enough.
Okay. 2, 3. Okay, from Cliff Gray, Corporate Services Director. Request for council decision establishment of, that's the motion. Sorry, I'm sorry. That's this one, right? Okay. That's right with that. Establishment of a community peace officer level 2 position. The proposal to establish a community peace officer level 2 position proposed by Kenny Pod and Cliff Craig, our Corporate Services Director. Background: for several years, the town of Vegreville has provided municipal enforcement services to other communities. This contracted service has proven to be advantageous not only to Vegreville, but especially to the contracted municipalities. These jurisdictions have realized benefits and efficiencies as a result of the enforcement controls. The fiscal component of the enforcement service is reasonable. These local governments could not individually afford their own community peace officers. Recently, Vegreville received requests from the villages of Manville and Minver for the provision for peace officer services on a contracted basis. In addition to these requests, in 2011, the town of Vegreville passed the Community Standards and Snow Removal Bylaw. Each of these bylaws will require enforcement within the town. In addition, the CBO 2 position would remove the excess burden of animal control calls out of public works, especially when CPO Pontebrosny is away from the community. In 2012, at the 2012 planning meetings last November and December.